Hello again. My name is Jen Lewis, and I'm a senior sales engineer with Couchbase. I'm continuing my five-part series on the 5 levels of high availability features in Couchbase. And today we're going to be talking about number 2, which is node failure and failover. For the write failure and durability features, please refer to the part 1 video. So let's get right to it. In Couchbase, one of our unique features is that we allow you to define an active data set for your bucket, or database is another word for that. And then we allow you to define between 1 and 3 replicas. When you do that for each bucket that you do that on, you have the active data set, which is split across the available data nodes in the cluster and also split up into 1,024 virtual buckets. The same is true for any replica data set. So here we have one active data set for one bucket, and this is the replica of that. So now the replica set is never going to be exactly the same documents as the active set on a single node. So if a node goes down or you have to take a node out for planned maintenance, let's take a look at what happens. First, the cluster map is immediately updated as soon as you fail over that node. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do that, either manual or automatic, and I included a link on the instructions of how and why you would choose between those. But when that happens, that failover, and the fastest that it can happen is 5 seconds if you configure auto failover, is then it updates the cluster map so that it immediately knows that don't send any traffic to this down or out node. And then it will immediately promote the replica set that matches what was in this active set. So these replicas will be promoted to the active set so that now your application is fully available and still can get to your full set of data. But that will not happen until you do failover. So if you do manual failover, and I think in our CE version, you can only do manual failover, you just need to be aware that someone needs to failover that node as soon as it's unresponsive so that the full data set will be available via your replicas. So some key points on this is it happens when there is an unresponsive kind of act, because data change protocol, which is the coordinator of our cluster, can tell it's not responding that particular node, or disk write fails because it can't get to it. That would be a condition that would trigger your auto failover. And the fastest that can happen is 5 seconds. If for whatever reason, you can delay that auto failover up to 120 seconds. So before you do that, if you were to do a read and that node hadn't been failed over, it will return, retry or get from replica. If you were trying to do a write, it returns an error, and so it'll just retry. But within 5 seconds, as long as you fail over, then the next call, you want to have the retries coded into your application logic, so it will retry, it will find the data. So I already covered that point. Hopefully this gives you a good idea on, what failover is and how it supports you from not losing data to your applications if and when a node goes down or you need to take out a node for a planned maintenance. If you would like to read more about this topic, then I encourage you to take a look at some of this documentation on the types of failover, which is basically automatic and manual, and then how to enable or disable automatic failover. And then there's a great blog post on how this is a myth about Couchbase and how we really do beat the pants off Mongo on scalability just with this feature alone. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again on part 3, where we talk about cloud zone availability and rack zone failures and how to protect your applications from being able to still get to the data if those were to occur. Thank you.